Welcome. This is Jordan with Foodbevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I'm talking with Michael, founder of Pan's Mushroom Jerky. Michael, welcome, and let's jump on in. So I'd love for you to give a quick introduction of yourself, the product, the company, and how you got started.
Yeah, my name is Michael Pan. I'm the founder of Pan's, and our product is Pan's Mushroom Jerky. It's a jerky made of shiitake mushrooms. There's no meat, no soy, just shiitakes. You get a nice umami taste and really satisfying texture. Our product's high in vitamin D, high in fiber. It's also paleo, kosher, and soy free, as I mentioned before. And kind of the backstory of it is years ago, I went to go visit family that I hadn't seen in years in Malaysia. And on this trip, like all really good families, they showed me all these sites, but most importantly, they fed me a lot of food. And so I was able to really try a lot of different foods that they had. And on one of these visits, literally a cousin of mine put a bowl of food on the table. I reach in and try it. I think it's pork actually, and then he told me, no, this is actually a mushroom. And so I found out that being vegetarian Buddhist, his family had a hard time finding foods that not only really tasted good, but also had that nice satisfying texture that some meat products have. And they had been working on a recipe that used mushrooms, and they'd been making it for a number of years for themselves and for the area. And I came across it, fell in love with it, fell in love with the story, and said we needed to get this out to the rest of the world. So that seems almost like a lifetime ago now, but it started really on that trip, and then turned into kind of a side hustle for a number of years, working with them to import the product for a while, sell it to and introduce the concept in the U.S. in general. That happened for a number of years, and then finally in about 2018. I decided to work on this full time. So I rebranded, created new ingredients for the product, and we basically relaunched and had kind of a new birthday in 2018. And we've been doing it ever since. So
Talk about some of the challenges that you've experienced along the way and how you've had to overcome those in various ways.
Yeah, I would say whether we like it or not, money, having money to actually launch the product is obviously a very real thing. And there are so many paths to, try to get that funding, whether it's, traditional investments, whether it's friends and family. And I would say every route's very different, right? Depending on everyone's own personal situation. My path was, I was working full time. I decided to bootstrap it and just kind of use my job and any hours that I had on the side to kind of develop the brand and the product and what I wanted. And the benefits were I was able to do that without the pressure of having well, there was pressure, but not I was able to pay for that launch. But obviously the downside was it's really time, right? You only have so much time during the day, so it really required a lot of patience from myself to know that I can only do so much. But when it got to the point where I realized that, okay, I think people are actually interested in this, I have something that's launchable now. Probably for a lot of people taking that leap to like, okay, how am I going to pay myself to live with this product that I have? It's a huge challenge that's very different for everyone. So we ended up doing a lot of different types of loans, a lot of, luckily through my job, I had some 401k money that I just cashed in. I went all in, and that was my situation. And whenever I tell people, they're like, how do I start this business? Unfortunately, you kind of have to start. How are you going to finance it, right? Because it's a lot of time and money that you have to figure out. But that was my path.
So, in going into 2020, I know for a lot of brands, it seemed like it's starting out to be a pretty good year but then COVID happened. So talk about what happened come February, March, April for your company, how your business has been affected and how you had to pivot.
Yeah. So we had been, for the past year and a half and let's see, roughly 2018, 2019, we were working a shared kitchen situation where we shared a lease with people, and which was fine to help kind of get it, get it to the next stage. And we had just put in plans to basically move into a 4,000 square foot facility that was our own in March of this year. And so we were very interested. We kept hearing about this thing that was coming, and we were pushing to get into our new facility as quick as we could. And luckily, we got in right as things were shutting down in the city. And so we moved in, which was great. On the other hand, we were, initially going to be like, oh, we moved in, let's start making more product, we're going to sell more. But it was immediately met with, we have a staff of about probably 8 to 10 people. We were immediately met with, should we really be operating now? Should we, are we safe? What's going on? There was a lot of, just as you can imagine, confusion and not knowing what we were dealing with, all while we were trying to move and scale the business. So, we were met immediately with this challenge of, and so we don't co-pack. I should mention that we don't co-pack. We have our own manufacturing. Are we doing the right thing by providing jobs, but also putting, employees at risk when they should be quarantining? So what we ended up doing, myself and my other partner, we sent everyone home, kind of let things settle, and everyone get kind of used to what was happening. Sent them home with pay, and we took on the burden of making product for a while, until we felt comfortable that we knew enough information, B, employees felt comfortable with what was happening as much as they could be. And then we had to reorganize everything so that we could operate safely, 6 feet apart. Do we have enough masks and things like that? So we were very early on aggressively trying to get those things in place, right as COVID was really ramping up in March. And so I think the pivot that we had to do was, we had originally intended on bringing more people in to just make more product in our new space. And unfortunately, we really don't want to do that anymore. We can't bring in double the amount of people. So we've had to, I'd say, be creative in terms of, scheduling, the equipment that we may not have wanted to scale up. Maybe we need that more now than we did before. And so I think just being, not sacrificing safety with our employees and trying to rethink in general of how we produce was something that we had to quickly shift to.
I think that's a very important view in terms of adjusting with the people that you have on hand and really making sure to protect their safety, I think, which is very admirable. As you look towards the rest of 2020 and in 2021, where are you looking to expand your business in terms of new distribution that you like and other areas that you want to grow into?
Yeah, from a retail standpoint, we think that we should be in most every natural and specialty store and chain in the country, and that's been our path really before COVID, and it continues to be the path now. We are launched in Whole Foods, for example, and some other really great regional chains as well. But what are the next steps of trying to get to more regions in the Whole Foods, and Whole Foods and other companies as well that we think we can start working with soon is kind of in the pipeline. But as you can imagine, the other path that we've been able to, I guess the flip side of everything right now with retail is that, online orders continue to increase in general, not only on our website, but also companies who, ship prepared meals or ship, boxes to people. We've seen quite a bit of demand from those type of customers that we're very excited to continue to push on. So I think while we still have, a retail plan in place, I think retail is also figuring out their timing also for new items. We have some things in set that we're excited to keep pushing on, but we're also trying to make sure that we're not, there's a huge opportunity, as you know, in online and D2C type companies that we're leveraging now, and we're also hopefully getting more business through that channel as well. Not to mention Amazon,
Yeah.
obviously too. So
What advice would you give an emerging food or beverage brand that's looking to get started based on everything that you've learned from your journey so far?
Ooh, one piece. It's tough. I would say for me, what's worked is trying to talk to as many people to see how they started their journey, and also realizing that not every path is necessarily right for you. And I think being comfortable with, getting all that info together, pulling what makes sense for your own company based off your financials, your product, your category, pulling those together into what makes sense for you. I think sometimes it's easy to get in the idea of like, how come they're able to do this? Should I do this? Um, and it's easy to get in that mode. But I think kind of listening to other people, but also listening and determining what's good for you and being comfortable with that is something that I kind of learned along the way. Just because someone else manufactures their own product doesn't mean that you should, or vice versa. And you have to kind of determine that yourself. Um, but it all starts with the connections, knowing people that have done that and reaching out to them and talking to them about it and getting their advice. So,
Sage advice. Michael Pan, with founder of Pan's Mushroom Jerky. Thanks so much for being on today.
thank you.